y'all, it's Crystal with the Wrapper Resource, and today we're looking at some mint books, and we're starting with a blank piece of paper here. It's Xerox brand. It's an 80-pound cover, and that is different from an 80-pound text. This is a little thicker. It's basically a cardstock, a thinner cardstock. It is double glossy, so that no matter which side you use, you get your perfect print. And we've already printed some for a customer and for Little Rose, and you can see right here what it looks like after it's printed. And I did print some crop marks. That's for my cutting. I also printed on the inside of this one, so you can just, depending on your printer, you should be able to flip this over and print on the inside as well. So, this does not have score marks. How are we going to fold this? Because we have, here's a finished one. You basically have 4 fold marks, 2 here at the top, and then 1 at the bottom where your staple goes. And we want to be able to get those. Well, I like to score mine after I've printed. And it really doesn't take that long, and all you need is a scoring blade. I bought, this one actually has a cutting blade and a scoring blade, and I don't particularly like this one for the cutting, so I just use it for the scoring only. And so I'm going to score my paper first. Now, I personally do not mark where I'm going to score it, because sometimes, as you all know, when you send something through a printer, it may be slightly different than the next one that you print. And based on, and depending on your design, you know, I don't know where you put your company information, but I like to put mine at the top here. And, you know, sometimes that's just a little up, a little down, stuff like that. So, what I like to do is score after I've printed, so that when I go to fold it, I'm not having to retweak and retweak based on my score marks. I score based on my print. So then I'm just going to score this. So I want it, my first score mark, I want just below this text here with my website address. And if you'll notice, on this particular one, you have a line right across the front of your scoring blade. That is where the score blade is on the bottom. So if you line that top line on the scoring blade, line it up, just before you put any pressure, kind of line it up and say, is that where I want my score mark? Adjust your paper accordingly, and then with medium pressure, go right across the page, and then you'll see that you have, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you do have a score mark there. Then I'm just going to move my paper and do the same thing for the other one. Line it up with that text, and then I'm going to come down, and you want about ½ an inch from the bottom of your design, which you would be looking at. It looks like you're looking at the back. This is actually the part that folds up to the front. So you're going to take a look at that, go up about ½ an inch, and score there. Now, typically, on this particular one, it's a slightly different color, which you're not going to notice in the video either. You would in person, but not on the video. So I'm going to line it up with my, the color. The color's a little different there. And then just a medium pressure. And then I'm going to keep going until I'm done with this sheet. And I know some of you are used to using a legal size sheet of paper or a modified legal size sheet of paper. These are very comparable to that as far as quality, touch, feel type thing. It is very similar. So you're going to get the same results when you print. And The only difference is you may be doing your own scoring where, depending on where you get some of your supplies, some of you may have it already scored. The reason that they do have this same paper in a legal size paper. The reason that I decided to go with this size paper is because all my other paper and projects that I do starts with a letter size sheet of paper. My labels, a lot of the things I do. So when I do this, sure, I have to change the paper that's in my tray, but I do not have to adjust my tray when I go to do these. And yeah, that seems trivial, but sometimes when you're really rolling with something and you've got it all timed out, okay, this person needs standards, they need this, then we're going to do minis, and then we're going to do the mint books. I don't have to take that extra set of time, which sometimes, and I also think about, a lot of times I'm printing when my kids are in bed, and my printer is just on the other side of one of my kids' rooms. Well, that's a little loud when you have to take that tray all the way out and then adjust it and put it all the way back in and then take it back out to adjust it for the next thing you're going to print. I don't particularly like doing that. That's a step I save by using letter size paper. The other thing, you get less mint books on your page. These mint books are a little bit bigger, just a teeny bit bigger than what some of you may be used to using. Just a teeny bit, not a lot. But the other thing that I like, I only put 6 on a sheet so that when you have a mint book that is full color, you're trimming the edges around the paper so that it looks like a borderless print. If you try to fill up this entire page or even a legal size sheet of paper with, say you decrease the size a little and you're cutting, 4 across from side to side, well, unless you have a really high dollar printer, and most of us don't because we're small business, you're going to have a white border, front, top, and on the sides, and there's no way to get around that with just a regular laser printer. And you might be able to get away with that on an inkjet printer, but you're not going to get a good print. You could have smearing and things like that on this glossy paper, depending on your printer. But if you have a photo printer, that's what you do, then you're probably golden and you could print to the edge. I choose not to. I like to use my laser, and I like to be able to trim the edges. So, and when I can trim the edges of the paper, there's less room for error for me. Okay, so since I don't like to use this one for cutting, I'm going to put it to the side, or on the floor. And I'm going to get the one that I prefer. I actually prefer a rotary. This is just a blade. And this blade is a little dull. Well, it's starting to get dull. It's not that bad yet. But I prefer a rotary. So, here's my crop marks. If you can see them in the video, I do have those printed. That's where I cut. So, I'm going to cut. I just line those up, depending on what you have. This one will pop out pretty easy, but only when I don't want it to. You have a little groove there. That's where your blade is, and that's where what you want to use to line up your crop marks to cut. And just slice right across there. I like to do all my edges first. And this design, once you get your edges off, sometimes, you do lose your crop marks. But if you have color, like this one does have a different color around the edges, I'm not really going to need my crop marks anymore because I can follow the design to cut. I'm going to shave a little bit more of that off. So, then I'll cut to separate my two. And I like to trim just a little bit more off of the front flap, like where you would trim here. I like to trim a little bit more so that when I put that staple on, I'm even up here. Could be a little bit of my OCD dealing with me. I don't know, but that's what I prefer to do. I think they look nicer. And then here we go. We're going to print. I'm just going to cut this in here. And now there's our mint book. And now we have our scores. We're simply going to fold. And then they're ready. You've got a mint book. I'm going to put a Lifesaver mint in there. I just bought the bag, so I have to open it. I'm going to staple that right in there. And I like to have the words Lifesaver showing. I don't know why, but I do. And then we're going to use, I don't know if all y'all have one of these, but I'm going to use my Mickey Mouse stapler. Staple that, and voila. We have a mint book. Beautiful. And there's what it looks like on the inside when you flip it up. And there's the print. So see, it really is easy peasy if you want to create your own mint books and score them yourself. If you have an exceptionally large order for mint books and you don't have pre-scored paper, you might want to outsource that. But scoring is scoring paper. To order it, it's about 10 cents a score. So for now, I'm choosing to score my own. And I hope this helps you with anything that you might have. And I will see y'all later. You can check us out at rapperresource.net. So that's WRAPPER. Never mind. And we're on